as you come aboard this morning. I am Dr. Linda McGhee, and you all know that I am on the first Sunday of every month, and I usually have an open call, and that's what I'm going to do today. Kelly's not on this morning because she is under the weather. But what I would like to do is maybe just urge the 8 or 9 people that are on here this morning to stretch out a little bit and talk to me today. So don't have a bunch of dead air. But what a thought that I had coming into the year was, what are our intentions? Not what your resolution is for January, not what you hope, and but what do you intend, right? And I have just become very selective about setting goals, um, and examining, have I set myself up to follow through on my intentions, right? And I just wanted to see if anyone, either in your chat or if you want to just speak, you can, had any thoughts about how you're even looking at your yearly goals. Are you making resolutions? Have you given up on resolutions? Do you want to do some things but you don't know how to start? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody set any resolutions? Dee, have you set any?
Hi, good morning. No, I
Hi,
didn't.
this is DSAP.
Yes, I have not set any resolutions per se. I but with House of Joy, we've been working with Tina Lifford going through her book and one of her books and a couple of
You're going through her second book, right?
yeah, but the practices may be with her first one. I don't have it in front of me, but a couple of things that are in there was trusting the process, um, forgiving yourself. So those are two things. And then this year, I definitely want to be more discerning. I think I that's really, really important. But
Can you say more
resolution
about that?
about discernment.
Uh-huh.
Um, Protecting my space, my mental and my physical space, and that involves the people in that space, personally and professionally. It makes a difference. I ended 2025 exhausted, really mentally exhausted, which makes you physically exhausted. And when I did an assessment of just the year, like the last 3 months just really, really killed me. So I said, I am not going into 26 with the same energy, but I realized a lot of the energy I was carrying wasn't mine. So just being really focused
Right.
on what's important and um, doing the work. I mean, I am someone who does like to work.
Right.
I like,
Same.
I like doing meaningful, impacting work. So that I'm not going to say it relaxes me, but you know what they say when it's something you like to do, it's easy to do. So I really want to lean into doing the impactful work and, but not, but the things that I can let go, I need to let go. So it's not a resolution, but just clarity and discernment.
Maybe resolutions either. I'm on a continuing quest for fitness, and when I say fitness, I mean it from all angles: spiritual fitness, physical fitness. I'm trying to move every day. I'm trying to eat healthier. But one of the things that you said really struck with me is that, for me, it's been like starting off the year saying no to some people, right? Can you do this? Can you review my book? Can you, like just staying focused on the many things that I already know they're in front of me. And I mentioned to Dee before we came on air, I'm trying to move this year, do some moving. And just that takes a lot of time and energy. So to make space for the things that I want to do, which is like working more in purpose, like what Dee is talking about, you have to say no to some people. You have to let go of some other goals. For me, I'm learning to delegate more. Um, so, working on being present with myself is on our comment list so I can have more agency over my mind. Intention is to ease and feel peaceful, starting with myself, my children, and then work in that order. Thank you so much for that, Kelli. I think that we are put in a position as women in the society to not say that we're putting ourselves first, right? We're in a condition to care. We've been conditioned to care for everyone else, and it seems we're made to seem selfish when we put ourselves first. And so one of the other things I want us to like really think about during this call is, am I putting myself first? Am I prioritizing my own needs? Am I prioritizing my own health? Because only you can prioritize your own health. Only you can prioritize your mental health, right? No one can do it for you. Anybody else working on something, thinking about working on something, wish they had a plan for something or have read books on the subject, even. Anyone? I will continue on, and again, anyone is welcome to talk at any time. Um, to talk about a book that I read, Atomic Habits, which was, quite a popular book. But it has helped me to understand myself better, when I'm more likely to that I'm more likely to understand that it's not my goals, it's my systems. So, you can have a goal. Um, But Dee, you said you haven't finished it. I listened to it on tape. I highly recommend listening to it on tape because it goes so quickly. I had the goal of getting in shape for every year of my adult life. All right. But then I understood you got to understand your systems. If your system is the workout can go any time of the day and your body will only really work out in the morning, then you're never going to get to your goal. So I had to understand that I had to put some systems in place and not just goals. So because of the way my day works and how probably a lot of your days work, if you don't get it done early, is it going to get done? Are you more than likely to do it before breakfast? Me, I'm more than likely to exercise on it right before I eat anything or anything. So I have my spiritual me time and exercise time first thing in the morning. And since I have accepted that and put that system into place, then I've been getting my workouts in. And the other message of the book is that small atomic changes can reap really large benefits. So we're not saying you're going to go from sleeping 3 hours a night to 9 hours a night. We're saying that, you're going to work on a system of building your sleep, right? Going from 3 hours to 4 hours and building from there. For me, my current small goal that I am working on has to do with water. And I've always had a problem getting in the water. And I don't like carrying around huge cups. But what I've done is I try to drink water when I wake up, and I have a relatively small goal. I drink other things, but just water, I have like just a relatively small goal. And just starting my day off like that has made a lot of difference. Um, Anybody else have any thoughts about things that they want to change? Is anybody like me trying to get fitter? Dee, do you have any fitness goals? Because we're quiet on this line today.
Not necessarily a fitness goal. One of my friends sent me this move it or lose it challenge. I guess it's an app where you and a group of people, I guess, are tracked on your daily averages and things like that. So it's,
Hmm.
very low intensity, but that's not a priority for me this year. I've got so many things on the table that that I have to worry about. I feel like I mean, health is always a priority. It's just not top of mind. And I don't do too bad anyway. Like I'm not big on sweets. I don't drink soda. My guilty pleasure is champagne, which is, 100 calories a glass. So,
Right,
cut out carbs a couple of years ago because they were making me nauseous. So,
right,
I'm good at maintaining and then going through this season of my life, I'm gonna gain weight even if I don't eat. So,
right. Um, I found that going through a certain age and being a postmenopausal woman means that you have to change some things, right?
mhm.
That everything in moderation doesn't work for postmenopause.
No,
You
and I
really,
have been working on sleep.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
really,
Hmm.
last year, I cut myself off like at 8 p.m., like no eating or drinking after 8, even though I found that I was still drinking water after 8. I need to stop doing that, but I really need to get more sleep.
Yes, that has been huge for me too, Dee. When I went to the doctor a couple of years ago, he just sit me down. He was like, "You're not going to reach any of these fitness goals until you sleep."
Yep.
And no one had ever said it to me that bluntly, right? Somebody's commenting that menopause has me at the highest weight. Um, exact same. Just going up, doing the same thing that you have been doing. And I, like D, had already started. I just didn't start this year. I cut down on sweets. For those of you who know me on the line, y'all know I make sweets and bake for charities. But I had been giving them up, but doing the exact same thing. My weight was just going up and up and up. So, like I said, for those of you that are joining us on menopause, and someone just said that they're um, getting more fitter, give yourself credit for getting better at cardio, right? You're doing more than you did. So give yourself grace and credit for that. Losing weight is not always the goal. It's not always going to be quick. But I really do urge you all that are trying to get healthier is to start by, getting going to get a physical, figuring that going to a nutritionist, a trainer, and sort of get some data, right? What are you working with? What are your goals? But again, what are your systems for putting in the work toward those goals? Let me see what else we have on this chat line. Also, Kelly mentioned about rebuilding muscle, right? That you might lose when you're on GLPs. So we're seeing all of this literature out about how to lose weight on GLPs, right? GLP-1s. And one of the things that they urge is that you have a diet that's rich in protein so that you don't lose a lot of muscle as you lose weight. So that's another issue. Communications is another thing that's being brought up on the chat. Figuring out how to create communications with your children, um, and because you might have done things one way, like you might not have talked about things, you might have swept things under the rug. And, quite frankly, Kelly wrote that in the chat. A lot of times we get that from how we grow up, right? So we do with our children what was done with us. And a lot of times in homes, we avoid deep topics. So I think it's such a great goal is to change patterns of communications so that you are actively dealing with emotional stressors, pressures. You're being honest with your child. I know recently I've been talking to my 26-year-old more realistically about money, life, tax, just all kinds of things, so that he understands like what it's like to run a home, what it's like to pay bills, what kind of things you got to pay attention to. Just communicating more instead of like, I got this, I'm taking care of this. But these are things that he needs to know. Um, Melissa says that she's continuing to move and going to bed earlier. Oh my goodness, Melissa, that has helped me so much. More than anything, is to actually get into bed. Um, you know, yeah, cardio does matter. You do notice it from concourse to concourse. Um, and one of the things that I noticed is when you're in those big airports like Atlanta and Miami and Houston, you see the real difference when you got to take 3,000 steps to get from one place to another. Um, Someone else mentioned that they are want more veggies. They're trying to go for more veggies as a snack food. Um, then there is someone that mentioned taking energy supplement, a liquid supplement, to augment their diet. Tai Chi in the morning and doing a 12-hour fast. I just love the idea of doing things like Tai Chi that would relax you. And I will be honest with you all to say that this environment in this country is um, taxing on our central nervous systems, and it's destabilizing. And if I say nothing else to you on this show, it would be to try to find some way that you can calm your central nervous system, right? If that is you sit and take 3 deep breaths in and 3 deep breaths out a day, if that means that you are joining, groups at your church or you're in a prayer circle, whatever it is, for me, it is that yoga. I just joined a yoga um, class, and it has been very much life changing. I had been doing Pilates before, and yoga just calms me. And this yoga that I take has slow movements from movement to movement, and then it has a half an hour of meditation and stress reduction at the end. Um, Managing your and eliminating stress is a goal moving forward. Like, I don't know, Vicky, if you can eliminate stress, but you can have methods to manage it. I have a goal that I haven't really vocalized, but I really need to do is to limit my time online this year, even more than I had been doing before, because that is destabilizing. And it's purposely destabilizing, right? You have to understand it's purposely meant to keep us feeling nervous, feeling stressed, anticipating the worst. Also, like, I get more work done when I'm not online all the time and doom scrolling, as they say. Um, oh, this year I'm making a conscious effort to lean into my small circle of friends. I mean, you couldn't pick a better way to help to manage stress, to calm your central nervous system, to just really reignite, reconnect with your tight circle and make that reconnection a priority. I just think that that's a wonderful goal. It is really important as we age and as we are raising children, some of which are struggling, that we manage to reconnect with people that feed us, right? And that we can connect with and who are a source of support. I've heard people, so we've talked about fitness, we've talked about communications, distressing, building up our friend group. I'm wondering if people have other goals. Like, are they thinking toward finances? Or are they thinking toward retirement? Are you a person that gets stuck at this time of the year? You want to make goals, but you've sort of let yourself down more than once, and so you're scared to make a goal.
Dr. Linda, Greta had her hand up a little
Oh,
earlier.
I'm sorry. Thank you for telling me. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning. I was assuming maybe we needed to type it, so I'm sitting here trying to type it all in. Um, so going to your question on how are we taking care of ourselves. So one, and then you talked a little earlier about eliminating stress, and I agree with you. The goal is not eliminating stress, it is really trying to manage it in a way that you strengthen your inner peace. And so, number one, I'm preparing to move my father out of my home into California to stay with my brothers, to help restore my inner peace. My father has Alzheimer's, and he's been with me, staying with me for 16 months. And this is in addition to caring for my husband, who is recovering from a brain aneurysm, ruptured brain
My
aneurysm.
goodness.
This is
Uh-huh.
year 12. And so because my life has been at its absolute lowest point, January 7th is the date that my brother is coming to fly my father back with him. And so that has is definitely going to open up my capacity to focus on the other priorities I have to take care of myself. The second is about what I will characterize as finding or living my purpose. So my purpose has been stalled a bit. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry, one, I'm running out of breath, and two, this is
It's okay,
been a lot.
Greta. Take your time.
Um,
It's
but
okay.
my purpose has been stalled a bit just because I have been caregiving for so long. And so I'm excited about jumping back into an entrepreneurial venture. There are about five of them that have been circulated in my heart and my spirit, one of which I would have never, ever, ever designed for myself. But I think, well, now I know it's a divine order. And so I'm excited. I'm scared as heck, but I'm excited about launching that this year. And moving my dad is going to help, again, free up a lot of capacity to do that. Um, and then what else? And similar to Kelly, working on or continuing to build my communication and relationship with my daughters. I have a 26 and a 28-year-old. They are out of state doing their thing. And again, a lot of the trauma that came from my husband's brain injury um, unearthed itself into some fractures in my relationship with the daughters. But the good news is that's going very well. But I will continue to nurture that because there's always ways to continue to build on those strengths. And now my focus is more on trying to restore their relationship with each other.
Mm.
Um, I was trying to do that a lot. I do mommy daughter trips every year. I always, do the best that I can. They're in two different states. And so trying to just facilitate opportunities. I do monthly Zooms with them just so they can hear and check in with each other. And I can hear and check in with them, even though I talk to them one more regularly than the other. But
Mhm.
I think a couple of days ago, I realized that maybe I need to step back and let God sort of work on restoring them, but still keep my eye on facilitating opportunities for them to come together. Because going through what I'm going through with my father, thank God my siblings and I, we're all good, healthy relationships or whatever. It doesn't mean it's been pretty because we, have different opinions on certain things. But we love each other. There's no drama between us. And so knowing that I have a history of my mother has dementia, my father has Alzheimer, his father's had Alzheimer, my sister has early onset dementia. I'm like, I need y'all to be good because if you got to care for me, I'm going to do everything that I need to do. And I'm preparing for that as well. Do all the things that I see my parents didn't do to prepare us for this stage and season of life. And so part of my capacity is making sure that's how I'm going to take care of myself, is knowing that I'm taking care of my kids in case or when we all know what their story is going to end. I don't know how it's going to end. And I
Right.
can't imagine putting my daughters through what I've had to go through with my
Right.
father, especially, I love my father. My father is is my superhero. I was always a favorite kid. And so I just need to make sure that I've gotten the legal stuff in order, the financial stuff in order, and the emotional stuff in order. Uh, when that time comes, that they will have to bear a lot of the weight that I'm having to go through.
Greta, I don't even know if I have any words to express just the admiration that I have for you and the fact that you've been in a struggle. I mean, taking care of two individuals um, at the same time. And you just deserve lots of credit because in this world right now, people don't do that. You know, people do not do that. They do not sacrifice. They don't sacrifice for their spouses. They don't sacrifice for their parents. And it's so easy to rationalize all of it, right? I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And the second thing is that I want you to like really write down the word grace, right, for yourself. Give yourself grace for all your decision making because you have carried such a load. So I want every time you think maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have waited on that, maybe I should stop doing this. I want you to look at that word grace and give yourself grace for what you have done, the things that you've accomplished, that you have put into place for your father, even while needing a break, right? Just to give yourself lots and lots of grace. Um, I do think it's very astute and instinctual for us to continue to try to foster relationships among our children when they even though they are adults, right? We still want to foster relationships between the children. We want to foster relationships between the other spouse and the children. And I think that that's not bad, right? The only thing that I think is that, once your children get older, it's really on them, right? And they will do with each other what they want to do. I think it's great that you have a monthly call. I don't think anything is wrong with any of this. And I don't think your desire to have them be close is wrong. I think that that's a good thing. But to understand that at 26 and 28, it's going to be on them. Um, and finally, I just want to say to you, if you can just broaden the self-care into the broadest sense, taking care of yourself, figuring out what gives you joy again, taking breaks, um, doing business ventures, whatever it is that you want, my sincerest hope is that in 2026, you go for it. You say yes, right? You start the business. You do the philanthropic act. I know just by listening to you that you're going to bring great energy and compassion to whatever you do. And I would love for you to keep us updated. Anybody else? Any updates?
Dr.
Um,
Linda, this is Vicky.
Hi. Hi, Miss
Hi.
Vicky.
I just wanted, I wanted to come off mute to just say thank you to Greta. I
Hmm.
think that um, a lot of us in this community are the one, quote unquote, in our families. I know that I am. Both of my parents are 88. Um, Similar spaces, my only child and grandchildren. I'm the one my siblings call. the one, my extended family calls to keep us together. They often say, you stepped into your grandmother's shoes when she left. And so I'm just saying thank you and sending love and grace to Greta. Her sharing just helped me to breathe a little deeper, to just know that it's not just me. And I know that consciously, but to hear the vulnerability and transparency to me was a gift this morning. So thank you, Greta, and to you, Dr. Linda, for just always guiding us on this first Sunday. I look forward to it and never disappoint. So much love and hugs to you as well, Dr. Linda.
Thank you, Miss Vicky. And I want to just say back to you real quick. For not just Vicky, but the people, including Greta, that are listening, most of us are the leaders in our family. Most of us are the arrangers, the caretakers, the financiers, right, of caring for our parents. And I just want to like embrace and acknowledge that the feelings come from everywhere. When you're caring for elderly parents and spouses and even children, there's love, there's caring, there's support. There's sometimes anger, there's sometimes resentment, there's sometimes pressures on finances and marriages because we're caring for other family members. And but I, you know, I and finally with both of my parents, um, I feel like and my sister who I mentioned to you all passed away in 2024, the youngest of 12. Um, I do also feel like I did what I could do, and I feel good about what I did. And I think that I hope that Greta, Vicky, Kelly, Dee, and everyone on this line can understand that you're gonna feel it all. But ultimately, I think when you have done what you could for your parents, for your kids, there is a sense of satisfaction from that. And Vicky, I just wanted to see if you had any comments on that.
Yes, I agree with you on the I do what I can. Um and when I have no more, I stop.
Yep.
I'm very intentional about that. And I don't feel guilty about it. I really have deep gratitude for you, Kelly D, in this community. It's a lifeline for me
Right.
and
Oh my
has
goodness.
strengthened my muscle of that's it, stop, can't do anymore. um,
And it's
and I,
okay.
yeah, and I
Hmm.
definitely feel it. So that my response is gratitude. And I'm glad that I learned that early while I am, as you said, learning tools to manage the stress. Because what I didn't share, what I'll say here is that, you know, what is a what is a concern, I'm not afraid of it, but something I'm mindful of and addressing is that my stress manifests at night when I'm asleep. Heart palpitations wake me up. Um, just sitting up and my heart is beating so fast. Um, so that's really what I'm working on, you know, this year really consciously
Hmm.
is
It's like you're taking that
learning how to
stress from your day into your sleep.
yes, yes. Not consciously. Like
Nope.
I didn't think I was doing it, but my body is telling me
Yep.
otherwise. My body is definitely keeping score and I'm
Hmm.
paying attention to it.
Right.
Um,
Please do.
yeah.
Vicky, I'll just share with you. I think around the time that COVID hit, George Floyd was murdered. All these things were happening at the same time. We were going through these elections, and I started to have some of the same issues because I was speaking, appearing, and doing all these things that had to do with a lot of trauma, racial trauma, and I was going through stuff in my family. And my body started to tell me, you got to do something different. And I hope that Vicky and I kind of sharing that will lead somebody else on this line or somebody that you know to take stock, right? And to say, I'm going to have to do something different because my body is carrying this stress. And we know that Black women that carry those stressors age faster than white women biologically on the inside, right? We're not talking about how we look on the outside, we're talking about what our bodies feel. And I just want you all to take stock of that when your body starts to talk to you about these things, that you listen. Anyone have something that is not having to do with a this year goal? Because that's how I started off the year of the call, and I didn't mean to like steer it completely that way. But if anyone has anything, I'll look at a couple more comments. But just if you don't, if anyone is monitoring the raised hands can help me, just let me know if somebody has their hands raised. Um,
Linda, I will also, first of all, thank you all for all of your encouragement. Um, I was coming off of just giving my dad a shower, which is always a battle, no less than
mhm,
2 hours. He's very combative. So
mhm,
anyway, I was just a little emotional, but I want to comment on a remark that Dee made, and it's talking about her conscious effort to lean into a small circle of friends. And um, I I just share this because only because when I've shared it before, I've seen so many light bulbs and people who have come back to thank me for just a suggestion. That's definitely been one of the many saving graces that I've had, especially in these last 16 months when I was also caring for my dad. Um, and that is, I've been gifted. God has really, really blessed me with an extraordinary group of friends. And I think after year 6 or 7 with my husband is when I sort of learned to release the guilt of I gotta go and do some other thing, something else
mhm,
to keep me
mhm,
whole. And so it
mhm,
made it a little easier when my dad, well, a lot easier when my dad came to stay with me. Like, if I got to go do something, I will make sure that you're safe and that you're taken care of, but I'm going to go do X. And leaning into my girlfriends has really, really been incredible. And so, one of the things, and I didn't do it, I didn't read it in a book. This
mhm,
wasn't oh, this is what I'm going to do to keep with my girlfriends. What I would do is, and I'm going to be doing it today, so that's why it's coming to mind. Each month, I find a date and I book a reservation at a restaurant, or I find a concert or a play, but restaurants for sure. Each month, I just book. It's usually on a Wednesday or Thursday, and I always book it for three because it's easier to go from 2 to 3 or from 3 to 2 or three to
mhm,
four. And so I just book it for three. And I let it sit there until a couple of days beforehand. And then I just start calling girlfriends, particularly ones that I haven't talked to in a while, to say, hey, girl, what you doing? We should get together. We keep saying we should get together. What are you doing
mhm,
Wednesday at 6:30? I usually make it at 6 or 6:30. And that sort of has helped me sort of get over the hump of texting a girlfriend, oh, we should get together. And then you got to manage two incredibly busy schedules, and then you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. And so I just book as far each month ahead. I try to go out as far as these restaurants will allow you. Most of them only go out 30 days. But I'll just book a restaurant, or I'll buy tickets to a play, and I'll buy an extra ticket and just start calling girlfriends. Hey, what you doing? Do you want to go see X? If they offer to pay for the ticket, that's fine. But if they don't, doesn't, no biggie. To me, it's
mhm.
just about making sure I'm making the time. Because if I wait until I think I have the time, that's going to drag on. And so when
Right.
I know that I have these things coming up, it also gives me some encouragement like, ooh, okay, I got to get A, B, and C done because I need to get ready to go to dinner. And I try to go to different restaurants, Black-owned restaurants, new restaurants, something that or sometimes just a coffee shop if
Right.
I run out of restaurants. But I just offer that as being proactive and that conscious effort when you book that reservation and then know that it's there. And like I said, usually a week, 3 to 5 days beforehand, just start calling up girlfriends and, hey, you guys want to get together for dinner. It's already set, and that usually makes it a lot easier for people to commit to it. But I
Right.
will continue to do more of that. I know for me, getting back on social media, I know social media can be the devil's work and angels resort. But for me, it was my visual joy journal. And for me, it was also a love letter for my girls, for them to see because they know what I'm dealing with. And I could go back to Facebook or I could go back to Instagram and just on those moments when I'm having a moment, I could go back and reflect on what I've done in the past that brought me joy and encouraged me to do more of the same going forward.
Cool idea. I just think that that's such a wonderful idea to like plan for dinner and fill the table with who can come, right? And I mean, I just think that's a wonderful idea because we're so busy. Stay figuring out how to stay connected even when you're going through the storms that Greta has gone through. It's just phenomenal. Again, the last couple of years, I'll tell you, everybody that sent me a candle, that has sent me a card, that has sent me a sympathy card, I know that. Um, and it brings a lot of solace to have friends particularly when you're going through troubling times. And as we age, friends become more important to us. So I just fully support making investments in your friends, and your friendships and your social circles. Someone else was talking about menopause, and that impacting their sleep. Uh, and she suggested daily naps. And I have a question, Tracy, if you don't mind answering. Like, how do you feel groggy after naps? One of the things that I struggle with is like, how do I feel after the nap? Tracy, would you mind unmuting and talking to us about like naps?
Good morning, ladies. Um, in regards to the naps, I don't feel groggy afterwards because I'm always going. And so it's more of me knowing that I just get totally exhausted when I sit down and I know that I
Mhm.
can't focus. So I literally go to the same space. And when I say I'm taking a nap, I'm not like literally laying down. Sometimes I'm just getting in my comfortable chair,
Mhm.
and silencing myself. And then I go to sleep. But when I wake up, I don't feel groggy at all. I am a avid coffee drinker. So I immediately probably fix a cup of coffee and continue with my day. But I definitely will shut my body down.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. I think, um, well, Tracy, since you're up, anything else that you're thinking about this year? Goals, aspirations, things
Well,
that
I'm
you're
going to
going to
talk.
get rid of?
So yesterday was the Supermoon Saturday. And a group of women got together last night and we all talked about some of the things the blessings that we took out of 2025. Oftentimes we talk about a lot of the things that we let go of, but I
Mhm.
wanted to celebrate some of the things that I was taking away from 2025. And for
Mhm.
me, it's groups like this, just being intentional about the spaces. I say algorithms are rhythming, and I hate to have negative things on my feed. We just talked about that social media piece. And I know in a couple of weeks I'm on the calendar to talk about this more. But I know for a fact that I am very intentional about what I say on social media because it is so much negativity in the world. And we're not in control of when you live in a household with several people. My husband has CNN on in every room,
Oh my
Linda,
goodness.
oftentimes. So I have silent spaces throughout the house where there is no TV because it is so toxic to me that I just can't take it. So
Mhm.
being intentional about the algorithms and the things that I intake, but especially being connected to groups like this, like Vicky said, this is priceless. It really is. It's church.
And Tracy, one of the things that has occurred to me running this group and listening into groups is that a lot of times us folk, us parent, us brown people, we don't have a lot of judgment-free spaces because even online, brown people judge other brown people or judged by the majority cultures, and it's hard to find a safe space.
I'm gonna tell you something. This year, well, last year, probably the third day into last year, felt like we had been through a whole year, and it was just the first week of the year. Um, and I took a hit because I specifically work with Black women and girls. And when I tell you, going and speaking at conferences where they don't want you to speak about equity, they don't want you to speak about belonging and affinity groups, and being a Black woman is detrimental to our health.
Yes.
But it also made me realize the value of us standing
It's
up for each other and
right.
coming together and finding those sacred spaces.
Tracy, your point is just so well taken because you and I occupy similar spaces. And I started a podcast in 2025, and people were like, "Why are you starting a multicultural podcast during these times?" But to me, it's all the more important to do it now. And one of the things that I'm going to do this year is to expand my talk about Black women and self care to the psychological aspects of us trying to hold ourselves back because we're scared of how we're going to be perceived. We're fearful of retribution. And the aspect that I really want to think about this year is Black women shining. Shine, centering themselves and shining. Um,
Absolutely.
your point is so well taken. And Tracy, thank you so much for being with us and supporting Sunrise, supporting me. I really appreciate it. I'm in a field now that, we don't always support one another.
Right.
And I'm always loving the fact when people are doing that. So thank you. I wanted to personally just say thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Linda. And I also know that we're the only, not only, but I don't know about other cultures. I have to say that for sure. But I appreciate that we can call each other sis and cousin. I mean, we have the same last name. We're not related, but we
Yeah.
cousins.
Uh-huh.
But oftentimes we don't treat each other like sis and cousin and
No,
auntie.
right.
So we got to
And
do better. We got to
and
do better.
yes, I mean, I just want us to all think about ways that we can support each other and not compete and to understand that it's we're not in scarcity. There is enough of whatever it is that we feel threatened or fearful of. And to give that support to each other, our spouses, our children, because it's desperately needed.
You're right. You're right. I often say I don't compete. I am complete. And when you're complete, you are around other people who are complete. And so there's no lack. And that's another reason why I love this space. Every woman that I have interacted with here from day one of last year of connecting, we don't come from a place of lack. And that's beautiful.
To come together, we originally came together for the benefit of our children, but we stayed for the community. We stayed for the understanding that you really have to take care of yourself in order to withstand life, right? In order to thrive. And so I'm proud to be a part of parents helping their children, but helping themselves and strengthening families. And I applaud you, Tracy, for your part in that.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you all have accepted me and we all accept each other. Kelli,
Right.
Kelli knows that when she can't come up, and I don't know, y'all, it's some kind of virus out here that's attacking us all, and they're not talking about it. But the fact that we can
No, and
support
they
each
won't talk
other,
about it. FYI.
right? They won't. But
Mm-mm.
whenever Vicky calls, whenever we gonna answer the call for each other, and we got to
Right.
continue to do that. Just
Right.
answering the
And
call.
and and the thing that I told Kelly today is like, Kelly, rest, heal. That should be the
Yes,
message from one another. I'll pick that up for you. You rest.
yes, I love
You
that.
know, and to understand that on the first Sunday that I can't be there, that Tracy will be there, or Kelly will be there, or Dee will be there, or Vicky will be there, or someone else that we don't even know that's on this line now that has a testimony to share with us. I use that word because I came out of Church of God in Christ upbringing, and you all mentioned earlier that this is for many, this is our church, right? It's a part of our spiritual development, and all development doesn't take place in a church. Right. So just understand that feeding your soul is important. And I'm wishing that everybody that's listening can find a place this year, find a thing this year that can feed their soul. Um, Vicky, are you going to lead us out of this today with prayer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do it. Thank
Yes,
you all
yes.
so much for showing up this week. I'm grateful to you all. I've gotten way more than I have given.
Thank you, Dr. Linda. God, we thank you for this day that you have given to us. And we are so grateful. We choose to rejoice and give you glory. Thank you that you are great in each of us, not just in us, but through us and as us, as we go out into the world, as we are the ones in our respective families. Thank you for this community. We thank you for Dr. Linda. Continue to bless her and her business and her practice and her family and who she is as a woman, as who she is in a liberator. We're grateful for her wisdom and her courage. We thank you for Kelli. God, I pray an extra blessing now, God, as she continues to rest and heal. Thank you that she will have a full recovery. Thank you for this downtime for Kelli to rest. Thank you for Dee and for every single person on this call today. God, I also lift up Greta to you, even as she shared today so transparently with us, that you continue to give her great grace as she navigates this pivotal season in her family. We just thank you for how you show up every week. Now, bless us today as we go through the rest of this day and the rest of this week. And thank you for bringing us back together again on next Sunday at the same time. We give you glory for these things. Continue, God, to make the SonRise Project a beacon, a lighthouse in the world for other parents who are healing so that we can be lights for our children and grandchildren. We give you glory for all of these things. In your name we do pray. Amen. Have a powerful day, everyone. See you next
Thank
Sunday.
you. Bye bye.